All right, here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, and boy, oh boy, it's the game. It's the game we've all been waiting for a very, very long time. Champions League semi-finals. It is here. Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Well, Real Madrid versus Chelsea because we are away from home. And first of all, before we get into, I'm just very excited. Before we get into everything, first of all, live chat. Thank you so much for joining. Already quite a few people that have joined into the stream, and there'll be a lot more people that will be joining throughout the stream, and we'll see it down the track. Thank you so much once again for your support all the time. And I've got another special guest here, Ibzi. All up, we've got the panel here. We've got RJ, we've got Ibzi, and we've got Advaid, who is the Real Madrid specialist. He's a Real Madrid fan, so we're going to get a lot of stuff from Real Madrid side of things as well. So first of all, my man RJ, how you doing?
Absolutely buzzing, fellas. I'm really looking forward to this clash. It's been a long time coming. It's the business end of the season, the Champions League semi-finals. We have the two powerful clubs, one being the superhero Chelsea versus the current supervillain, one would argue, Real Madrid. So it's a nice little narrative, but no, in all seriousness, absolutely excited for this, guys. And the press conferences today just reaffirmed that. So, yeah, looking to get stuck into it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Advaid, from a Real Madrid point of view, has things, and how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm not sure about my club in the eyes of world football. I think after all that's happened last week, I think my club isn't doing too well. But I'm doing great. I'm buzzing, and I've got my Real Madrid shirt on. And this is actually the 2017-18 third kit. This is the last time we won the Champions League. So that was when we did the three-peat and Ronaldo's last season. So yeah, I'm buzzing. And from being an editor on some of your videos to actually now being on your channel talking about an absolute blockbuster of a game, I'm actually really excited, and I hope you guys are doing well as well. Looking forward to this.
Brilliant, brilliant. Just a bit of background knowledge for all the people that have joined. Advaid is actually an editor in my channel. Whenever we do sort of special sort of videos, he takes it away and he edits it. I haven't done that for a little while, but he has helped out this particular channel a lot. So I do thank him. And I'm glad to have Advaid on as the Real Madrid side of things. Ibzi, you're the newbie. You're the debutant. It's really good to have you here, man, because I've been following you quite a lot in social media, especially in football Twitter, and I absolutely love your tweets, man. So I've had to bring you on. He has things, my man.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be on here, man. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. Brilliant, brilliant. First of all, once again, shout out to the live chat. I've got Liam here. I've got Devang here. Adam here. Pratik, Taha, Declared, my man. Declared, the Aussie man, is here. Manav is here. Uzair is here. Amir, my man. He's our old school fan. Boys, let's get straight into this. There's a lot to talk about for this particular match. I want to start off from the press conference side of things, both from Thomas Tuchel and from Zidane's point of view. Let's try and build this up. First of all, we've got Mark as well joining. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming in the live chat. Ajay, let's talk about Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel says, in terms of, I think the first few questions was about who's in, who's not. The one notable absentee at the moment is Kovacic. He's still out. They expect him to be back for the Fulham game, hopefully. But I feel like, fine. At the moment, we don't have any options. We're just going to have to stick with Kante and Jorginho. But I do at times miss Kovacic. There are certain parts of the game where you feel like, Kovacic would have been very, very influential in those phases, whereas someone like Jorginho and Kante probably doesn't give what Kovacic gives. But at the same time, Kante and Jorginho gives a lot of things that Kovacic doesn't give. From your perspective, do you feel in this particular first leg, are we going to miss someone like Kovacic, or do you think it's actually perfect away from home? Jorginho, Kante, a little bit more of a defensive sort of mind frame. Real Madrid probably going to have more of the ball. They're going to come at us. Probably Jorginho, Kante suits. How do you look at it?
Yeah, now first up, I think it would be naive to say that without Kovacic, we aren't weakened in any way, because in my personal opinion, I've been really impressed with the way Kovacic has come on leaps and bounds since Tuchel's taken over. And while he doesn't flourish in both boxes, he's still the kind of player that gives you that special something in terms of his dribbling skills, his tenacity off the ball as well. I think he's a bit more effective, or based on his athleticism, versus a Jorginho, and his ability to beat that press and open up the space for our front three. That's where the little nuance is that we'll miss from him. And I think the scenario that I want to refer to is in the last game against West Ham, we saw Kante, and as you know, I'm a big pro Kante fan. The one thing that's not his major skill set is his ability to play that key pass more often than not. And I think the scenario I'm referring to is Ziyech at the end. I dare say if that's Kovacic in that scenario, he probably plays that ball first time to Ziyech, who's got an open run through on goal, or at least
we've seen Kovacic do that. We've seen Kovacic do that.
Yeah, and even though he's not great at end product in terms of shooting and providing assists, I do think that we will miss some of that dribbling ability from him. But that said, I've been really impressed with J5 and Kante, and the good thing is, from Chelsea's point of view, they've got momentum. They've paired up in big games before in both the Champions League and recently in the Premier League. So I think it's not an ideal situation having our Croatian sensation out. But at the same time, I've got enough confidence in J5 and Kante because I do think they balance each other out quite well. Jorginho is the more disciplined, intelligent player. Kante is the everywhere man. So I think we will handle it.
Yeah, I agree as well. As I said, away from home, I think Jorginho and Kante could probably suit us. And at home, hopefully we get Kovacic back, which I'm hoping that we have more of the ball, depending on how the match sort of goes. If we are leading in this match, maybe we won't have that much of the ball because Real Madrid will have to come at us again. But if we're not leading, it'll be perfect scenario for Kovacic to come back and enforce the play. Pratik, really good commentary. Major miss, man knows Real Madrid inside out. Also Modric as well. Yeah, not true. Kovacic definitely knows them. Would have been very, very handy in this particular fixture. I won't lie, but I do have the faith in,
But they also know him that's what I would counter that. They know him. So, you know what I mean? It goes both ways. And that's why I didn't really highlight that as a factor, because they kind of offset each other, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Advaid, I'm looking at some of the Zidane comments from his press conference. First thing he started off with by saying is, tomorrow is the hardest and most important game of the season for themselves as well. We as Chelsea fans, we look at this particular fixture as a blockbuster fixture, obviously, and somewhat, I don't think we're wrong to think that way, because obviously Real Madrid has that pedigree, the history in this particular competition for a very, very long time. So we do look at it as, here we go, we're playing the great Real Madrid. But at the same time, I think Real Madrid, especially Zidane, is trying to showcase that, hold on a second, this is a very tough game for us as well, not just for you guys. This is a very big and a tough game. So is that what the fan base from the Real Madrid side of things feel as well, that this is a big game for them too?
Yeah, 100%. I feel that, with Zidane's most of his press conferences, he's always kept this neutral standpoint where he's, given respect to the opponent and always considered the games as, a final, as they say. And in our fan base, whenever Zidane says, okay, tomorrow's game is a final, next game is a final, I think the players really, step up and, they get that kind of seriousness in them. So, yeah, I think with the fan base, I'm like, it's like a bit torn apart because on one side of things, they look at, with the whole Hazard coming back and all that, they look at it as probably as a fixture where obviously when you have teams like PSG and Man City, a part of the fan base does think that we've got the, this is no disrespect, but probably the easier side of the three. So that's what part of the fan base looks at it. And of course, Zidane has always been neutral. And as you said, he said that this game is probably one of the most important ones of this season, not only because it's a UCL semi-final, but also because about Chelsea. And even Rafael Varane, who's who also happens to be linked with you guys in the transfer
Yeah.
window, he also
Yeah.
said the same thing, that Chelsea are a very well balanced side, and they have a lot of options in the attack. So I think that from Zidane and Varane's point of view, I think it's just respect for the opponent, and just trying to make sure that we're at our best and we can give our everything to progress to the final. Of course, it's only the first leg, but yeah, this is going to be an important one, especially at home.
No, absolutely, man. Look, no offense taken one bit. I can imagine every team probably would have preferred us to play in the semi-finals out of all the remaining teams: PSG, Man City, and Real Madrid. Probably, Man City probably wouldn't prefer to play us because they've recently played us and they lost. But I'm pretty sure PSG would have said, "Yeah, we take Chelsea as opposed to Man City or Real Madrid." Look, I still think we are a very, very big contender in this particular fixture. So it's to the opposition to get into this trap to think that they want to face us. And that's the thing that I want to talk to Ibsy about next up. That a lot of the questions were circulating around this. That how are you gonna tackle Real Madrid, and how are you gonna do this and whatnot. And Thomas Tuchel and Pulisic in the press conference said, if I was someone, if I was a particular team, I wouldn't want to face Chelsea right now because Chelsea is very difficult to play. So from that perspective, Ibsy, do you feel like, we don't have to worry too much. We should go into this particular match thinking, Real Madrid, you better be scared because not many teams want to face us at the moment.
Fully agreed. I fully agree. And I feel like they will be worried. I feel like they will be worried against us. I feel like Tuchel, because Tuchel played against Zidane last season when he was at PSG, he tactically outclassed Zidane in that game. They played a 4-3-3 formation, but without possession, they played a 4-1-4-1 formation.
Yeah.
So I think Di Maria and Saliba, they were dropping back in midfield to protect the so it's like a midfield five in that sense. And they had Marquinhos in the middle to to clear to break the play in that.
Yeah, basically do all the cleanup job.
Yeah, exactly, and all of that. I feel like and with Real Madrid, what they do is they play a 4-3-3, and it's a bit similar. And this is why I feel like it might be a bit similar to the way they're gonna approach our game, because they play a kind of bit similar to the way they played against Liverpool the other week. They played a 4-3-3. But without possession, they play a 4-4-2. So sometimes you would see Benzema dropping a bit deep and Vinicius slightly ahead.
Yeah.
But the thing about one of the weaknesses about Madrid is that their defensive line is quite low, and because the defensive line is quite low, they push the midfield slightly high. They tried to press PSG's backline, and there was a huge gap between the defense and the midfield, and I feel like that's where we can. I think that's where we're gonna. I feel like that's where we're gonna attack them in that sense. I feel like that's how we're gonna beat them when we have interchange in that front three. I feel like the movement and all that, because there's so much space between the midfield and the defense. I feel like we can.
Exploit that sort of area.
That, because there's a huge gap of space, I think we could potentially exploit that at Madrid. And I think the key thing we want to do is isolate their fullbacks.
Yeah. And
I feel like we have to be a bit more brave when we in the attack. And that's how I feel right now.
No, for sure, man, for sure. Ajay, I want to now talk about how Thomas Tuchel also mentioned that, we don't always have to, because they were asking him that, do you always have to, is there a next level? What are you going to, how does the team reach to the next level? And he sort of switched that around very nicely, that it's not always about our level. We need to sometimes think about how to stop others playing their best football as well. So it's not just about us playing our football, but he was talking about that we don't let others perform either. How important is it to also focus on that factor of the game, that, yeah, be focused on your game, but at the same time, try and understand how the opposition plays and try and see if you can stop them from playing the way they play as well.
Yeah, actually, that was probably one of the key takeaways I took from that conference, was around the quote I think he used specifically was, maybe the next step is to keep our level, or something to that effect. And it was basically implying from his point of view that we have been in good form. It's not necessarily about putting us under undue pressure to try to find this magical next step, but maintaining that relentless consistency, which is difficult in its own right, because let's face it, since he's taken over, he's been at a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10, in my opinion. And equally, like you said, it's about not only do we worry about what we can do in terms of achieving that consistency, but it's about trying to thwart the opposition and making sure that they can't play their game. So it is a fine balancing act. But I also believe he was pointing to the fact that we've earned, along with Real Madrid, we've all earned the right to be in this UCL semi-final. But going forward, the tactic is to keep believing in what you're doing, because it's paid off so far. So it's not about coming up with drastic measures to adapt to the situation, because basically since he's taken over, we've maintained some principles, that being, let's shore up our defense. Let's have that organization starting from the back five, and then we work our way into a more fluid front three situation. And while I think from a Chelsea fan's point of view, I think we can all agree we can improve on our goals, chances created, and clinicality of chances converted, it's still, we're in a positive situation. And I think overall, he's quite pleased with what he's seeing. But the real trick is to not drop that confidence level and not be overawed by the situation, because I think where the interviewers were going was that Real Madrid's a very experienced team. They've been there, done that, and won 4 out of 5 in recent years. So that's a very big intangible to overcome. But I like the way he's brought that calmness factor and just told our boys, look, we're going to come up against your Benzema's, arguably the La Liga player of the season, who's done it all. Modric, World Player of the Year. Cruz, Casemiro, Varane at the back. Courtois in goal, who we will never mention again. But apart from that, we've been doing a pretty good job ourselves. We've beat Tottenham, we've beat Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Manchester City, Porto. No team, especially on a big occasion, has proven to be too elusive for us. So I really like the way he approached that interview, as always.
No, 100%. You're right. Just like yourself, I enjoyed when he said that. Yeah, when the reporter said, "What is the next level?" and he was like, maybe the next level is maintaining this level, because the consistency is very important. It's no point in playing at a high level and then the next week you start playing in a low level. You have to maintain that high level, and maybe that is the next level. But I also enjoyed the fact that he said it's not just about us, how we play. We need to understand how they play and how to stop them playing their game. I love it. I love how he thinks like that. It's so brilliant. Advait, Zidane, I want to focus on Zidane. He was asked, is Chelsea going to park the bus? And he responded by saying, I don't think so. They defend well, but they also attack well. I mean, you would have seen us play in recent times. I mean, you'd have to agree. We're not one of those teams that just sit back and just defend. We do defend well. We've got a very good structure, but we know very well how to attack as well. Yeah, we're not as clinical up front. That's probably our biggest issue. Do you see from that perspective that, obviously you guys have the home game. Do you feel that Chelsea is going to just sit back here, or do you feel, this is not the Chelsea of Jose Mourinho days? This Chelsea will come at you, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, before I get to this one, I just like to touch upon what the tactical analysis which my friend here gave. So great analysis, by the way. But then, this was like a last season and few seasons before that. And yes, we did have that weakness there. But if you've seen us play in this season, I feel like, Zidane has really experimented with the lineup. and more so
Yeah.
because of the injuries that we have faced. We've had like 55 injuries, which is a record, by the way.
Wow.
No club has had to face these many injuries in a season. So he's actually kind of like experimented a lot with a lot of players, and has even played like three at the back, which you guys play at the moment. So like he's played three at the back, he's played with wing backs, he's played the 4-3-3 as he always does. So I feel like the midfield to defense, the kind of space that's left out. I think what has happened this season is like you've seen if you've seen up play closely, it's like usually the midfield, one of the midfielders, either it's Toni Kroos or Casemiro, they tend to drop back between the centre backs and trying to kind of like cover up that space. So I
Hmm.
feel like we haven't been successful always. I'm not gonna lie, but then I feel like that kind of weakness has kind of Zidane has seen that weakness, like where we've been exploited, and he's tried to fix that. And I feel like that is something that we will see in a lot of games coming forward. And yeah, so it's basically the understanding between the midfield and the defense, which where they try to drop back and play like try to intercept passes and play forward. Now coming to your point where you asked about if I think you guys would sit back. I think the the few games that I've seen Chelsea play, I've
Hmm.
noticed that while since Thomas Tuchel has come in, I've seen that you guys have been extremely good defensively, and
Yeah.
so that's been great, and your pressing has been really good. He's trying to incorporate that German pressing in your team. So I feel that uh, although it is an away game, and you might not have the home advantage, I feel like with the kind of attack that you have, I feel like you have a lot of pace in your attack with Timo Werner, with
Yeah.
Pulisic and all that. I feel like you will attack us, try to exploit that the fact that you have a little more pace. With our midfield, it isn't the fastest in the world with Toni Kroos, Modric, but our defense isn't like too bad either. So I feel like maybe you would try to exploit those areas and try to get that crucial away goal. But then
Hmm.
if you've looked at the Liverpool game, we've tried to really take advantage of our home games, because
Yeah.
at the first point is it's at the second stadium, that is the Alfredo Di Stefano. And if you've seen Klopp's statements on that, he was really surprised by stadium and all that, and the players really couldn't. I don't know. Maybe they looked like the Liverpool players looked like they were a little caught out of possession and all that in
Yeah.
the stadium and stuff. So I feel like we'll try to. Our approach might be to, and this is just a guess, but I feel our approach would be to score goals because we're at home, and of
Yeah.
course, Chelsea obviously would want to get that crucial away goal. So in that sense, I feel like the team that really gets the first goal, I think that would be really crucial for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Ibsy, I want to talk a little bit about the game now. I feel like, you know, defensive structure for us is very, very good with the three at the back, the wing backs, and the double sixes. And even we defend from the front. We actually press hard and we counter press hard and we try and box the opposition in. Um, I've never ever felt under Thomas Tuchel that we are very defensive minded, where we just drop back and our lines are very, very far back and literally just allowing the opposition to pile on pressure after pressure. I feel like we do try our best to get out of the pressure and try and apply the pressure back onto the opposition. And it's a very, very progressive way of thinking that Tuchel does. But at the same time, it's not reckless. We never ever play reckless kind of football. Besides the West Brom situation, that was just an anomaly. That was a crazy situation that has happened. And even when we attack, we have a very good sort of ideology as to how we want to attack and how we want to break down the teams. We just don't have that final third, that class in the final third. Do you think, from that perspective, if Real Madrid thinks that what they did to Liverpool, they could try and do the same thing to us, I feel like that would be very, very naive to think from that side, because Liverpool are not as defensively as
They were playing
cohesive as
high line,
us. Yeah, exactly. And they play a very high line and whatnot. So do you think that Real Madrid will be in a bit of a shock when they start when the match starts tomorrow, that they will get a bit of a shock as to the level that we are playing at the moment?
Not necessarily, because Zidane did say today that it will be the toughest game that he's playing in the season. So I think he's aware of our threat. I think he's more worried about the ref in particular, because
there's funny questions around that. Well, first of all, what do you think about that? I mean, surely the refs would never ever do that just because UEFA's got an issue with Real Madrid. I cannot imagine, because both Tuchel and Zidane have categorically denied that. They're not even thinking about this, because that would be crazy to think that a referee would be biased towards a team. Do you know what I mean?
We know how corrupt UEFA is, so you just don't know, isn't it?
And it's usually the Spanish press with all these questions. They just don't rest with these. Yeah, so it's mostly that. It's just really no substance to it. Yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, but here's to open. But yeah, I do think he's going to be worried about. I think because we've got so many options in the attack, and especially one thing that I'm worried about is that we don't have depth in midfield. If God forbid anything was to happen to Jorginho or Kante specifically, then we're going to be like so opened, and especially with the midfield they have, Cruz, Casemiro, and Modric. It will be a bit a long night. So I mean, like, it will be a bit insufferable. So I feel like the most important thing is that that especially in the attack, I want us to be a bit more brave with our decision making.
Yeah.
I want us to be I want us to scan, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, like when you're in the attack, just look around before you make the decision, and don't take the extra run, like don't dribble furthermore, just scan and then make the pass quick, make the quick pass and stuff like that. I think the difference between us and Liverpool is that Liverpool were very one-dimensional with the way they played.
Yeah.
They were playing a high line. They didn't have that much. I don't know if it's unfair to say, but I feel like they didn't have intelligent midfielders in that game, in the first leg in particular. I feel like they were just trying to like press that Madrid that midfield three, and I don't think it was possible because that midfield three are press resistance. I mean, if you look at the way Modric and Cruz were operating in that game, barely you couldn't get anywhere near them, and Cruz was practically jogging in that game. So I feel like I don't think they are naive in that sense. I don't think they're naive to think that we're going to do the same thing. I think they're aware that we have intelligent, world-class midfielders, I'd say, in Kante. We have a player that is super intelligent when it comes to winning possession in Jorginho. So I don't feel like they're not aware of our threat. Like I think they're aware of how. I feel like they're aware that we can keep the ball very well in that sense. In the attack, with our front three, I think that's going to be key. I think there has to be a lot of movement, mobility, and I want to see a lot of interchange. I saw that your what's it called, your stream yesterday with Eunice and Matisse, and decided to go with Ziyech, Mount, and Werner, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking of going with the front three of Crystal Palace, because the movement of that front three was super fluid, and I feel like with the players that Madrid have in the defense, I think Mendy's out, right?
Yeah.
So
Mendy's, I think, still there.
Yeah, and Ramos is not playing as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he isn't playing.
So I feel
he should be there for second.
Yeah, so I feel like in a way they're missing their, the big names in the defense, and I feel like they could be there for the taking if we exploit them. They do have weaknesses, and I do feel like we can. I think we can cause a lot of damage, but I feel like we just have to be very brave in the attack, in particular.
Yeah, no, fair point, fair point. RJ, I want to continue on with what Ibsy has been saying, because it is quite important to understand that they have that experience, the Casemiros and the Cruz and the Modric's, Sergio Ramos, even Varane, very, very experienced at this particular level. And obviously they've got a whole heap of experience up front with Benzema. But that midfield and the defense of Sergio Ramos and Varane, obviously Ramos. Advait, just quickly, who are some of the players that are out at the moment for Real Madrid before I go back to RJ again? Is Ramos starting?
No, Ramos isn't available for tomorrow. He's just back to individual training, so I'm not sure if he'll be available for the second leg as well. I hope he is. Lucas Vazquez is out for the season with the PCL, I think, injury. And Ferland Mendy is not there for tomorrow. He should be back for the second leg, though. And Fede Valverde is down with COVID. So
wow.
These are the four players.
Who's your back four then?
So that's the thing, right? So Zidane might either play a back four or a back three. And with the recent La Liga game, he played Nacho at the left back position, which personally I feel will not work versus Chelsea. So we have Eder Militao, Rafael Varane, of course, and we have Nacho, and of course we have Carvajal and Marcelo. So these, so if he plays a back three, you probably go with Varane, Militao, and Nacho, and the left back.
And does he generally play a back three? I don't think he generally plays a back three, does he?
This season, with the number of injuries we've had, he's actually experimented a lot by playing a back three in a few of the games. So yeah, and it has actually worked for us in some occasions. So yeah. Exactly. So Nacho, Militao, and Varane would be the back three, with Carvajal as the right wing back and Marcelo as the left wing back. But if he does go with the back four, I feel like he might not want to play Marcelo as the only left back, because he's kind of like his form has dipped, and
his legs are gone. He's not as quick as he used to be.
Yeah, and he would be really defensively exposed if he were to play only Marcelo as the left back. So he'd either play Nacho with the two centre backs as Varane and Militao, and the right back, of course, is Carvajal. So these are the options.
Fair enough. So it looks like it's a bit of a makeshift defense. Going back to you, RJ. Now looking at that experience in midfield, they still have Varane at the back. Even if they do go with a five, they may even bring in Carvajal, who's still a very, very strong player. From what Ibsy was saying, that Liverpool were looking to really press them, especially the three midfielders, Toni Kroos, Modric, and Casemiro, and they're very, very press resistant. They know how to wriggle out of situations and really, really play the game in their tempo. Do you feel like we have a very good balance between experience and youth, where we've seen how when we press and counter press, we are very, very efficient, the way Tuchel does his gegenpressing, and how we do it as a unit? Do you feel like that we could have an edge over that midfield, or do you worry about that midfield that Madrid has?
Yeah, the way I saw Real, because I watched the Real Madrid-Liverpool game, both legs, and I think I tweeted it a couple of times, I was particularly impressed with that midfield trio from Real Madrid, and I thought, what's the old saying? Class is permanent, and they are class acts. And regardless of their aging legs and the fatigue factor, etc., at this level, to achieve what they've achieved, experience shouldn't be underestimated. So, but that said, we're not a team that also has players that don't possess bundles of experience or intelligence. Jorginho's a very sharp mind, and he's good at dictating the tempo. Kante's a World Cup winner, a Premier League winner. He's played in the big games as well. So I think it's just when people try to say Real Madrid have the advantage in the experience domain, I can accept that to an extent, but we're also not a League 3 team that's never played a big game before. And in fact, leading up to this game, you could argue we've had a very good audition leading up to it because we've had some mega games coming into it. So I feel like we're in a good moment right now. And also, not for anything, while I definitely 100% respect the achievements of Real Madrid as an institution and what they've done, even in this season, in the fact that they're second in La Liga, in the semi-finals, they're equally parity to what we're doing. I don't think that they're the Real Madrid of old that I would have feared a few years ago. I do think that they have some vulnerabilities we can exploit, particularly with the list of players unavailable. And given the dynamism, that's the term I'll use, dynamism of Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic now, who I do think will start, even though there is an argument that Ziyech will get the nod on the right and therefore they might push Mount to the left. I do think that even regardless of who we go with, we've got that pace up front. We've got good form at the moment. Werner's back on the goal scoring list, even though he's not fully over his demons just yet. I honestly think that we will go for 1, if not 2 goals and back our defence to keep that clean sheet, because I think at the end of the day, form has been very good to us lately. We go in with good confidence and we will use our intelligence. And the comment made before, I just want to call that out quickly. Someone, I think it might have been declared or somebody, mentioned that Tuchel is arguably more flexible than Klopp. And over the 2 legs, like you said, that Liverpool were very tactically rigid. It was their way or the highway. And unfortunately, they're back on the highway out of the competition because they just didn't adjust. Whereas what we've seen with Chelsea is we've had games where we've dominated possession, dominated territory, and really put them to the sword. And we've also had games equally where we've sat back and waited and strategically attacked them a counter and got the same outcome. So I'm very confident with the way that Tuchel's got us prepared. The players have responded, and I think we'll give due respect, but balance that respect with confidence.
Nah, 100%. Kishan Patel here. RJ, great point as always. The real experience always stands, but our defense makes me feel so confident. The fact that we haven't faced each other adds intrigue to the game. 100% agreed. And this is what I want to ask Advaid right now. Advaid, you would have seen we've got the record at the moment in Europe with the most clean sheets. Our defense is so strong. We've kept a clean sheet against Spurs. We've kept a clean sheet against Liverpool, Man United, Porto. In the first leg. Atletico Madrid over 2 legs. So we've been very strong. Besides that whole West Brom situation, where do you see from a Real Madrid point of view that you could hurt us? Where do you see that there could be a weakness that Real Madrid could exploit, and maybe something that the fan base is talking about, or maybe something that Zidane could target from the Chelsea's team?
Well, I mean, to be honest, as I said earlier as well, I've watched few games of Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel, and the way he has transformed you guys defensively has been pretty commendable. And with the number of clean sheets and all that, it really speaks volumes. And I've also noticed that under Lampard as well, players like Rudiger never really got the chance, but now he's stepped up and he's made the defense along with Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta really good. So, the defense, your defense is really good. But then I feel like the places where I can think of where Real Madrid can exploit is probably because with Real Madrid, we've always been good with the counter-attacking and from the corners, where especially when the opposition take corners, and then that's where we kind of pounce and get on with the counter-attacking. So probably, and this is just my take, but somewhere where we could exploit Chelsea is probably in the counter-attacking, because that's where really our strength is. Although we do have some issues with finishing, and this is
same as us. We have issues with
exactly
finishing as well.
Exactly. So with our team, we have only Karim Benzema, who's actually been remotely consistent in scoring goals. With Vinicius, Asensio, Rodrigo, they do the dribbling and all the build-up play fairly well. But then when it comes to the final third passing, against Liverpool, Vinicius was good. But then if you watched him regularly, you'd know that his final third passing is pretty, kind of pisses a lot of people off.
That's what a lot of Real Madrid fans have been saying, that don't get so excited about Vinicius. He's not as good as he's shown against Liverpool. He is a very much a particular player who's very good, but he misses a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, the number of chances that he's actually scored and the number of times he's missed there's a huge gap between that. So that's where we in the upfront we kind of lack, because Hazard has been injured for a long time, and players like Vinicius and Rodrigo have had to fill in. So coming to the same point, that I feel like we're good at the counter attacking. We're really good at building up play that way and scoring goals. And another place where we're good at is with Toni Kroos, his knack of finding that through balls, that long balls.
As you saw versus
as you saw versus Liverpool, that first goal with the key pass to Vinicius. So it's basically the midfield, the creativity there. So that's where we're kind of strong at, and probably where we can try to exploit Chelsea. So yeah, it's basically, I feel it's like the counter-attacking. And if we can do that right with the pace Vinicius has, and if he can, pray to God, but if he can get the final pass right, we can actually score some goals with that. So, but then as it all comes down to, actually converting that opportunities and how we can try to get around a very, very good defense, I have to say.
No, fair point, man. Absolutely fair point. You've got Toni Kroos, you've got the Modric's. They know how to absolutely exploit the midfield, find those key passes, those through balls and whatnot. Ibsy, this is a bit of a problem for us. I feel like we do play very good football. We play structured football, but we're missing that one particular passer like Toni Kroos or that Modric kind of passing, like Cesc Fabregas when we had. Look, as great as Jorginho is, but Jorginho doesn't do that often enough. He's more of a dictator in the middle in terms of controlling the tempo. Let's move the ball around. Let's just keep it going. He's not
strategy.
But he's not like a Cesc kind of player that looks up and he looks for those key passes, and that's fine. Jorginho, that's the role that he's playing. Yeah. I feel like we don't have that Toni Kroos or the Modric or the Cesc Fabregas kind of player. Do you feel we're now getting into these sort of particular matches, right? The semi-finals of the Real Madrid, moving into the FA Cup final coming up very soon, and some very, very big matches coming up in the Premier League. That where do you see, Ibsy, from your point of view, those key passes coming? Do you feel, and this is where I want to bring in Mason Mount. I feel like a lot of people underestimate Mason Mount, and I feel his game has improved in that particular thing. But I feel we do need to get much better into that passing thing. But from your perspective, who do you think is a key player for us that could do that?
I feel like you said, Mason Mount in the sense that he's the link between the attack and the midfield. So he's the one who can make the link and make the transition quite a bit smooth, because of his half turns and that. So I feel like you said, we don't have that kind of player that has that accurate passing like Kroos, that sharp passing, and we don't have that. But yeah, I feel like the way we're gonna beat them is if we just maintain the ball really well, and just be precise with our passing. And I don't know what kind of player that we have that can do that right now. I think Jorginho might be the best one out of what we have. But
do you feel this is why Ziyech is very important? Maybe he needs to start?
Possibly, maybe. The thing is, I really like the movement of that front three that the one played against Crystal Palace, because it was just so dynamic. It had that energy about it, and I feel like all that movement, all that that ability to interchange in that, I feel like that can frustrate that Madrid defense. That being said, that kind of pass, I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one. I'd say Jorginho would be that guy because of his ability to move the ball quick and that.
Yeah.
But obviously Cruz is just another level in terms of passing.
Cruz is in a different monster level. But if we were to talk about the three that you're talking about, say Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Pulisic, for me, I love that front three as well. I feel like they have everything possible. But for me, if that's what we're going to go with, then someone like Kai Havertz needs to come deep and help out Jorginho with the passing as well, to find the passes to Mason Mount and to find the passes to Pulisic, so that they can, as you said, Mason with his half turn can turn the defenders around, and then Pulisic with his directness. I feel that has to be the trick. Yeah, and if Kai Havertz doesn't play, then I would like to see Ziyech get that, because I feel like we need someone who can open up the game. RJ, who do you see as one of our players that can open up the game? Because I feel like we can't just rely on, all of this time where, we've been creating chances, but one of our biggest issues is that we don't finish it off. We haven't been clinical enough. We haven't been finishing chances off. And I don't feel like Real Madrid is going to just allow us to get away with a 1-0 win. Like, they will try and get to us, and they will try and penetrate our defense, and they will try and, make sure that they equalize and get that 1-1 or whatnot. Look, I could be wrong. Maybe we can keep a clean sheet. But if there was a particular player in your mind that we definitely need to, make sure that they start and give us that sort of opportunity of making more key passes, who do you think is that particular player for us that probably should start against Real Madrid?
For me, it has to be the half-turn Prince, Mason Mount, to be honest. I know, bad pun, of course, for any Harry Potter fans, but in all seriousness, I just like the way... There's a few things with Mason Mount. It's not only is he's a leader by example in terms of the press, but he's not just athletically superior, and he provides that intangible of bringing the rest of the team to follow him. But we've seen the quality he has brought. And let's read this comment from Andrew. Mount will drop to the right to form a three in the middle to play out. Yeah, I can see that, to be honest. I can see that. And the thing I'd say to that, Andrew, is I think what you get from Mason, he's not just going to be someone that's positionally rigid. So he's not just going to start off in one area. We know that he's the kind of guy that likes to move around. He's to your point, Ibsy, he's someone that demonstrates fluidity to a T. Yeah. But not only that, Miz, you said, who's the person that's going to help us break this game apart? Yeah. He's the sort of guy that connects the middle to the front area. He's the someone that's going to collect the ball a little bit deeper or make himself available. He's also going to be the guy that takes the long-range shot. And let's face it, he's probably our most technically gifted player to have those long-range shots and hopefully set up some chances for any attackers that chase the keeper. But also, he's the kind of guy that can deliver great set pieces and play those key passes for your Havertz or your Pulisic of the world. For example, when Pulisic made that back post the other day, it only took a last-ditch cutout to prevent him getting on the end of it. So I think he's our man. He's the one that's going to do it. And I think he's the first name on the team sheet, I've got to say, for us.
Yeah, for sure. Mason Mount's 100% one of the first one in the team. And, a lot of people commenting here at the moment that possibly, and we said it, guys, if you missed out, I had a semi-preview with Matisse and Eunice yesterday. Do check out that particular video, which is live at the moment, if you just go to my channel. And we did say that if we have a front three of, let's say, for argument's sake, Mount, Ziyech, Mount, and Werner, what's naturally going to happen is Werner's going to come in the left, Ziyech is going to stay in the right, and Mount will sort of drop deep in midfield and stay as a cam, sort of like an attacking midfielder, whereas Ziyech and Werner is actually going to attack the half spaces and that inside forward sort of space. So Mount undoubtedly becomes very, very important, as what Ibsy was saying.
But Miz, I just wanted to add to that point. I actually don't mind that front three, even though if you were to ask me who would I prefer first up, I would say Mount on the right, Pulisic on the left, Havertz up front. Ordinarily, I would say that, but the caveat here, and what I liked about what you came up with there, and the logic I see with that, is like, for me, Ziyech has demonstrated, not just last season against Real Madrid, because some people think, they've played Real Madrid, he's a good player, pick him for that game. It's more than that. Recently, Ziyech has shown us that he's turned up for the big games this season, most recently against Porto, Federico, whoever it was.
Yeah.
And he's someone that's clinical. He's someone that's putting away those chances. You know, Man City, of course, who could forget that? But more importantly, it's all about, for me, developing relationships and chemistry. So for me, what I'm starting to see now is I'm seeing a relationship blossom between your Pulisic, Mount, and Havertz. But then almost it's like a hockey analogy where you're starting certain players that come in and out.
And Ziyech and Werner.
Yeah, Ziyech and Werner. And I think to a lesser extent, when Tammy was in form, you had that Tammy-Ziyech relationship, even with Werner. But obviously he's behind the scenes at the moment. But Ziyech and Mount's your connector. He's the someone that stays present between those two substitute teams, essentially. So definitely can see the logic in Ziyech, the big game player, Mount, the ever-present, and Werner, the guy who's just worked his way back into form, and you know he's going to run himself into the ground for you. So, completely get that logic.
May I just
100%. Yeah, go on, Ibsy.
Yeah, I was thinking I was thinking of adding Giroud in the second half. That I think we should feature Giroud, because the thing is with Giroud, like,
he's definitely a good, I feel like he's not plan A though. I feel like he's a good plan B. If something's not working up front for us, that he's
and Giroud,
like a focal point. You know what I mean? A focal point.
And the thing is,
I don't know if he would be plan A for Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, but I remember, like, if you look at his record against Spanish sides this season, the perfect hat trick and the bicycle kick.
And you know what, Ibsy? The whole Go-Kart, and the
Go-Kart F1, yeah.
Exactly. So I was just thinking to myself, you know what, like this is, and he's got that beef with Benzema. So it'll be extra motivated. So I was thinking to myself, you know what, like it could be a shout that we could put in Giroud in the second half. It might, like, sometimes you need that clutch moment. Yeah, I mean,
True.
And he'll provide that moment of brilliance, although he may not fit into the style of Tuchel. But if we need that moment of brilliance, a scorpion kick, whatever, then stick him in.
Overhead kick, scorpion kick. And Giroud's got a very good record in Europe, and as you said, against Spanish team, he's very, very good. And as I said, as a plan B, Giroud is definitely something that you want to put down in the card, and I hope that Thomas Tuchel does think about this.
As well. Five subs as well.
Exactly. Very, very important. Guys, we've got 90 people logged on right now. Please smash the like button straight away. Help us get to at least over 50 likes. We've got 35 likes, so get us to at least 50 plus likes if you're enjoying the review. Let's continue on. We've talked a lot about tactics. I do want to have some different sort of conversation now. I want to talk about Eden Hazard. I want to go to Advait first up. Advait, Eden Hazard, I personally don't expect him to start. I feel like he's still finding his way back in. But do you feel he's going to feel a bit different seeing his teammates? You know, obviously he would have played with a lot of these players, you know, the likes of Azpilicueta, Tony Rudiger. You know, who else has he sort of played in our team? N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, you know, all of these players, Giroud in the bench. So he would have seen them. Do you feel? I mean, what's the word at the moment from the Real Madrid fan base that, you know, has Hazard going to feel facing Chelsea?
I mean, firstly, he's just coming back from injury, of course. He only played 15 minutes against Betis, and statistically, he was really good. He looked really great as he came on. He actually created the most chances in the game.
Yeah.
And he played only 15 minutes. So 13 minutes.
That's unbelievable.
So he looked great as he came on. But then I feel like now, you know, all the sentiments and all that is there, and he's massively loved in your fan base. But then if you look at it, he's a Real Madrid player now. And he's been injured all this while, and he hasn't really been able to show his quality for a long time now. So I feel like the mindset that he probably needs to have is, of course, he's going to come off the bench. So the kind of mindset that he probably must have is, you know, like, he's played with some of these players in at Chelsea, with Aspilicueta or Rudiger or Jorginho. He's played with them a bit, so he's kind of has a bit of experience with them. And I also saw some pictures of him and Reece James in training, so
Yeah.
he's had that kind of exposure as well. So I feel like his motive would obviously be to, contribute massively to the game and help us score those goals, because that's what we're really lacking right now. Benzema is the only consistent, remotely consistent goal scorer,
Yeah.
and with Tony Cruz and Eden Hazard, I think the creativity is abundant. So, and we could clearly see that missing with Tony Cruz. He didn't play the last few games, and we could barely score any goal. I mean, two of the last three games ended in a 0-0 draw. So I feel like the main aim with such players is obviously to help the team, and with Hazard especially, with him coming back and not being able to show that much, unfortunately because of his injuries. I think that's what the mindset will be, and in the fan base as well. I feel like a lot of us are really hoping that Hazard, with whatever time he gets, he tries to show that quality that he has, because even after all these injuries, I still believe in him. I still believe that he's obviously a world class player. So I feel like that's what he really needs to show us, and the fan base is expecting no less.
Yeah, man. I still think if he finds his fitness back, you're gonna see an unbelievable Eden Hazard. Look, his best is probably gone, but you're still gonna get a very good one. RJ, just to carry on with the whole Eden Hazard conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't forget the fact that amazing goals that he scored for us. Absolutely made opposition defense look like rookies. I don't think it's going to be a massive factor in the first leg. Maybe he can still come off the bench and maybe still do something. But I think second leg, as long as he can stay fit, he could have a bit of a say. Do you feel, RJ, that our team, the old dogs in terms of Aspilicueta, Antonio Rudiger, Jorginho and whatnot, they will know his strengths and weaknesses as much as he would know their strengths and weaknesses as well? Do you feel like we should be able to still contain him, or do you think on his day there is no one able to contain him?
Yeah, I think as to your later point, to be honest with you, on his day, big caveat, obviously, it's hard to replicate what he did for us now, given his current situation. But yeah, to be honest, I might know everything about Lionel Messi, but I'm not going to stop him. And it's the same thing with Hazard. With respect, I think we probably need to respect our guys as well. They've been performing at a really high level, but we know that Hazard's different gravy on his day. But that said, perhaps this whole side narrative with Hazard and the quality he brings to the table hopefully doesn't distract us from the fact that there's some other high quality players that Real Madrid have. And I'm talking squarely about Benzema at the moment. I know he's a given because of his goal scoring feat, but it's his whole profile. It's what else he brings to that team. His link up plays, hold up plays, ability to distract and pull defenders out of place. I think that's where, for all of the talk about the great midfield battle we're about to witness and the dynamism and intensity of our front three, from a tactical standpoint or from a square head-to-head face-off, I'm actually very interested to see the likes of Thiago Silva take on Benzema. To me, that's what I'm excited about. Even as a neutral, I dare say, I'd love to see that. Great quality attacker, seasoned, experienced, world-class defender who's going to come out on top. And look, if Hazard wants to have an effect on this game, I'm not going to punish him if he gives a no-look pass to Werner on goal and we score. That happens. Don't worry about UEFA corrupting things. Hopefully Courtois, even though I said I wouldn't say his name again, he can help improve his status if he lets one or two goals go in. So fingers crossed.
Hazard's heart is blue. Hazard's heart is blue.
He's done that before. He's done that before with GH at Ajax. So
exactly. Absolutely.
I really hope not. He's been in great form.
Come on, Eden, you know what to do.
We'll see exactly where Eden's heart is. Look, I'm pretty sure he'll do his level best for Real Madrid. Ibzi, I want to talk about another player, Thibaut Courtois. We have a bit of a bitter taste on this particular player, on what he has done, the way he has left us. Many call him snake in our fan base. Look, I personally, I don't like calling players all of this stuff, snakes and rats and this and that.
Yeah.
I do understand that what he has done was not the way to do it. He should have found other ways to do it. But I mean, do you feel like that is also an added motivation to some of our players to try and give one on him? You know, try and score one, put one past him, and really put it on him that, you know what, there you go, you got one back. I mean,
I don't feel that's that deep with the players. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that deep with the players.
I don't think it is, actually, to be honest. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still mates. But do you feel Courtois would be nervous for this particular fixture, especially in the second fixture when he comes to Stamford Bridge? Obviously, no fans, but you know he's going to feel the vibe.
Well, he did say that he wished the fans were there, and I'm just going to say that he should be counting his blessings, because if the fans were there, oh my days, they will be like tear him to a new one. But yeah, like, do you know what? I just hope that if we could just stick in Giroud in 88th minute and just heads the ball through his legs. I mean, what a night would it be, especially through the legs, because he's done it so many times. He conceded so many goals when he was with us through the legs, and it annoyed the hell out of me. And all of a sudden, he improved his footwork at Madrid.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying.
Of late, he hasn't.
Oh, he hasn't?
He hasn't conceded too many through his legs, at least.
Oh,
and he's actually been really important, one of the best players for us this season, to be honest.
Yeah, and I remember that.
I mean, look, he's still considered as a top goalkeeper, man.
He's still one of the best top three easily right now. Arguably the best. I'm still annoyed about Courtois, the fact that the way he left us and the fact that we were trying to get Kepa, and we all know what happened with Kepa. Like one of the worst save percentages.
Enough said.
I mean, we don't need to go into it, but yeah, like, I don't know, like, I feel like we can. I just want to like get one through his legs. That's just how I feel.
You just want one straight through his leg. You just maybe a Timo Werner special straight through the leg.
If Timo Werner does that, I swear down, he's a legend in my eyes instantly. I don't care what anyone says.
It'll be like Torres all over again.
It'll be Torres all over again.
And we scored the Torres goal with Chilwell against Porto. Now we might as well do the Giroud one.
Yeah, true. The header. Yeah.
I mean, Werner wins the corner. And Ziyech takes the corner, boom, to Giroud. That's it. Imagine.
I love the dreams, man. I love the fairy tales. I love it, man. I mean, if it happens, fantastic.
Imagine.
Advaid, I do want to now focus on another serious part. Look, which you touched on a little bit. The whole Florentino Perez and the stuff that he's been saying. I mean, I'm annoyed. And it adds to this particular fixture that I feel like we will not just have a lot of Chelsea fans, of course. A lot of the neutrals will probably back us to knock out Real Madrid with all the stuff that Perez has been saying. And Zidane was asked this question in the press conference, and he categorically says, look, I'm not going to answer this. Perez knows my feelings about it. I'll leave it to that. I mean, how does the Real Madrid fan base feel about what Perez was saying? Or do they agree with him that there needs to be a Super League, we need the money? Because I feel like the whole Super League thing at Vade is all about money because Real Madrid are just in debt. So, you know, what's the fan base feel towards Perez? Because I'm telling you, Chelsea won the revenge because of the chaos he created and the way he made us feel for at least a week.
I mean, this game is really Chelsea versus, Real Madrid versus the rest of the world, isn't it? Because all fan bases, you know.
I don't know if that kind of works for you guys. I don't know, like, you guys want that as well. Like, you want the rest of the world on you, don't you?
Exactly. It's a tricky situation which Florentino Perez has got us in. I'm really annoyed at it. And obviously, we wouldn't want the Super League, as any logical fan would, think about it. And it's the same with the Real Madrid fan base, as far as I can see as well. And it's very clear that with all the the interviews he's given, whatever he said, this whole Super League thing was just for money. He just wanted the kind of the 400 million supposedly that we're going to
Mm.
get, an extra 30 million apparently for us, especially as some reports say. And it really has been all about money. And the first interview that he gave, and which I think angered almost all the fan bases, and he clearly said that if you want to sign players, like we've been linked to Mbappe, we've been linked to Haaland, as many clubs
Mm.
are. He clearly mentioned that you need the money, you need the Super League, you need all that to do it, and all that. The coach where he said 16 to 24-year-olds don't really enjoy football, and all that nonsense. It's I feel like it's just a plot to promote the Super League and get his what he really wants, because as things stand, he is the president of the Super League as well,
Mm.
and he's like kind of the initiator. This started way back in 2009, where he was like, we should create a new league and all that. So I feel like I respected Florentino Perez a lot until the Super League happened,
Yeah.
because as a president, the amount he's done for us, the amount his the glory days and all that, it's been
Yeah.
amazing. And
The Galacticos, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the Champions League success, everything, he's done an
Mm.
amazing job, and for that I still do respect him. But then after what he's done with the Super League and the kind of image that he's tarnished of Real Madrid, I do feel this was completely unnecessary and uncalled for. Because if you look at football Twitter right now, it's because of Florentino Perez that this has
Yeah.
become like Chelsea must smash five against them, just put them in
Yeah.
their place and all that.
Yeah.
And another thing is, like, I've seen a lot of disrespect towards the players and the manager, and I feel
Yeah.
that's uncalled for, because all
True.
this
True.
that's happened is because of one and only one person, basically, which is Florentino Perez.
Yeah.
And yeah, with the initial interview, it did anger a lot of fan bases and all that. But then, as soon as all the clubs backed out and all that, few days ago he gave an interview saying maybe we didn't explain the Super League properly, this that, and obviously it's just a plot to cover things up. And yeah, I mean, with the fan base as well. We also saw a lot of Perez out. Florentino Perez should resign and all that. And
Yeah.
while I would agree that he should, with all the kind of drama that he's created and the club's image that he's tarnished, I also feel that there's not another person that is capable enough to take this club forward, which is why probably he hasn't resigned, or probably that Perez out and all this has kind of come down, because we all
Mm.
know that there is no really competitor to take who can really take it to the next level. There was a guy who in the reports, I think it was Enrique something. He was
Yeah.
supposed to stand for the elections, but then I could never see him become the president, because the first thing he said is that he wouldn't want Zidane as manager. He wanted someone like Klopp, and that's just disrespectful to Zidane,
Yeah.
because after what he's done this season, especially with all the injuries, and he still kept us alive in the Champions League and the league. How can
You
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 just
guys are
just take
actually in
away
the
Zidane?
La Liga. You're in the hunt for the La Liga as well.
Yeah, I mean, the last two games with the draws, the hopes have come down a bit. But then
Mm.
still, Zidane, what he's done even in the past, how can you say, you want to sack the manager and get someone like Klopp? That just doesn't work. That doesn't agree with the fan base.
Fair,
And
he
he was
could
the
up-
only.
Klopp
Sorry?
I think Klopp would be an upgrade. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you could argue, but then it's like kind of disrespectful to Zidane to say that, because what he's done for the club, and he only
Yeah.
deserves
True.
to go. He only
Yeah,
deserves to go on, because managing a club with 55 injuries is no joke, and the
Mm.
fact that he still kept us in competition. So this guy was the only competitor of Perez, and he clearly, I don't see him taking charge of Real Madrid. So Perez, while we would want him to resign with all the stuff he said, there is no one else to take us forward, which is why he's still here, giving those interviews here and there and trying to cover up the Super League thing. But his main aim was just to get the money, the 400 million or whatever, and a lot more if the Super League were to go on. Thankfully, it didn't. So yeah, like the fan base is really like they were torn apart when all the Super League stuff were going on. It was really
Mm.
like chaos with all the other fan bases, attacking Real Madrid and all that, and especially now with the Champions League coming up. But then I think it's since this whole Super League thing is settled down. I think we should kind of move on because this was never going to happen, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, and the Champions League games are still there. It's not been cancelled or anything. So I think we should focus on that and seriously look at winning these games. Although everyone seems to be against us, but then we would obviously look forward to playing a good game and obviously beating you guys. That would be the intention.
No, 100%, man. Look, I completely get it from your point of view as well. We get it from our point of view, and it's interesting that how important Perez is for all the other setup for Real Madrid and how much he has brought Real Madrid. In terms of, as you said, with the Champions League victories and the Galacticos, he's done a lot of good stuff. Obviously, in recent times, the whole Super League situation is crazy. And, you as fan base are trying to forget that. We as fan base are trying to forget it as well, move on. But I'm not going to lie. It is definitely going to be in Chelsea's mind frame to get that revenge. And I'm pretty sure from the neutrals' point of view, there's going to be that because that week, I'm sure you can admit as well, Advait, that it was tough from a football fan perspective, not just a Real Madrid or a Chelsea fan perspective, but from a football fan perspective, that was very difficult to go through that whole week. I remember RJ saying to me that it's been a draining week. It was a draining week for me. I'm pretty sure Ibsy was a draining week for you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, look, we've covered a lot of things about the players, the press conference, the tactical side of things, how we're going to, each teams are going to play each other, the weaknesses and the strengths. We're not going to do the lineups because, as I said, check out my video from yesterday with Matisse and Eunice. The lineups are there. We went through a predicted Chelsea lineup there, preferred predicted Chelsea lineup. Please check out that video. It is live right now. And before we wrap things up, first of all, shout out to the live chat. Honestly, you guys have been buzzing, man. Smash the like button right now if you're enjoying it. Hit the like button. And before we close things up, let's just get some score prediction and how each of my panelists sort of expects the game to be. I'll start with you, Ibsy. How do you sort of expect this game to go and your score prediction?
I expect Zidane to headbutt the cameraman, Casemiro to slide tackle the referee and permanently paralyzing him. I mean, I expect madness in this game. I'm not gonna lie. I do think.
Do you reckon a couple of red cards here and there?
Yeah, and 3 penalties and Jorginho the skipper. I mean, I need that. I'm injecting into my veins, isn't it? This is, I don't know. Like, I feel it'll be a crazy game in a way in terms of the ref. I think I don't want to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist and all that kind of stuff, but I do feel like we might have the advantage because of the ref, because of the whole Super League and that.
Bro, if I start seeing some crazy yellow cards coming out, I'm gonna have to think that all my days. I think the referee's on our side.
They don't get fazed by anything. That you can't rattle them. I mean, even when Liverpool threw the stuff in the bus. But anyway, going with my prediction, I'm gonna go with a 3-0 win to Chelsea.
Oh wow! Wow. Take us into the final, please. Just take us into the final.
Jorginho's gonna score penalty, and Giroud the head in the end, and I think Kai Havertz will score. No, Reece James will score the scream.
Oh my days! Oh my days! You got a fantasy. You got a fantasy written up, man. That's fantastic. We'll leave Advait for the end. I want to see what Real Madrid perspective. RJ, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I thought the whole discussion on Real Madrid and how they're being painted as this evil entity now. And I said at the start, it's the battle of the superhero versus supervillain. And I was just thinking, if I was a promoter, I'd be sort of looking at this whole Avengers theme where Chelsea with the Avengers with Pulisic as Captain America, Reece James as the Hulk, and Mason Mount as Iron Man, and you've got Perez basically as Thanos trying to wipe out the football world. So I actually thought it would have been quite a good end game variation. But for those who don't know what I'm talking about, it's obviously, Avengers. But in terms of prediction, I would go with, I think it's going to be a cagey game. I really do. It's 2 legs. I respect Zidane's experience. He knows that this is a two-legged affair. He's been there, done that. Tuchel's in the final last year. They're not going to, in my opinion, go all out, gangbusters, and throw it all out on the table first leg. I expect it to be quite a tactical battle, and both teams will try to cancel each other out. But I sincerely, humbly think we're going to scrape this with a 1-0 win, and I think it'll be.
I'll take that.
Mason,
I'll take that.
And I think it'll be our half-term prince, Mason Mount.
Ooh, that would go down nicely on the fan base, man. Mason Mount scoring against Real Madrid to give us a 1-0 victory. Oh my God, that's headlines. Headlines right there. And Vade, from a Real Madrid point of view, I'm pretty sure you have something different to say. You can go with the Chelsea win if you want.
No,
Make a full house.
no, but okay. Before I go with my score predictions, I've noticed something pretty common with Chelsea and Real Madrid. And correct me if I'm wrong. We both as teams are defensively great. And if you watch Real Madrid games in the past, we were now 17 games unbeaten in all competitions. Even with Ramos and Varane out, I feel like Nacho and Militao have really stepped up and provided that defensive solidity. So I think, and of course, Tuchel has really come and revolutionized your defense. So I feel like both teams are defensively really good. And another common thing is that in attack, we're kind of lacking the goals, right? We don't, as Real Madrid, as I said before, Benzema has been the only remotely consistent goal scorer. And with Chelsea as well, I feel like the consistency is even missing there as well with Timo Werner and all the other players. So there's a connection there as well because not connection. I think there's a common.
It's finely balanced. It's finely balanced.
And with the midfield, I think this is where the real battle is going to be because the midfield is really a strong point because especially with Cruz back, that's a really good update for us. By the way, he was missing the past 2 games, and if he was out for today for tomorrow's game, then he's back. So if Cruz, Casemiro, and Modric, who in my opinion is the most balanced and best player in midfield, I think if they play, I think that's going to be the real battle in midfield because the way they understand each other, the way they can drop back in defense, the way they can go and attack, the way they can press Casemiro, the monster that he is in midfield. I think that's where the battle is really going to be. So I feel like it's going to be a blockbuster of a game for sure. But if I were to predict, I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Real Madrid.
Ooh, 2-1 win. I like the away goal. I like the away goal, but I can't see us letting in 2 goals. That's the thing. We're very strong defensive.
Unless Sam Allardyce is manager now.
That's the thing.
But you know what? With our defense, with both our defense being so good, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends in a 0-0 stalemate. But I hope not.
It could very much be.
I hope not, because that would be really boring, and the second leg would be everything. Would have a lot of pressure. But then I feel like with the home advantage and with with the players that we have, and especially our form in the league has been kind of topsy-turvy with us.
You got some of your Madrid fans coming here. 2-1 Madrid, I think.
Yeah, but then when you look at our form in the Champions League, this is where we shine. This is where we step up to the biggest stages, and this is where the experience, as everyone says, comes in. So Champions League is different sauce for us. I think we've been crazy because I remember in group stage where we lost a couple of games. People thought we were going to go back to the Europa League, and I just laughed because the Champions League is our 13 Champions League. So this is what we're strong at, and that's exactly what happened. We beat Inter Milan, we beat Mönchengladbach, and then we topped the table, and then we beat Atlanta and Liverpool. So Champions League is really where we step up, and the form has been great. So I feel like with that respect, and no one thought we would score 3 against Liverpool, but we did. So in that respect, I feel even though your defense is really good, I think with the home advantage and all that, I think we can get 2 goals. And with the defense, although we're pretty good at defense, I think Chelsea with Mason Mount especially, who's been I feel like a player of the season. I think the creativity that he has, and even if Ziyech plays and all that, I think they can probably scrap in a goal. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Real Madrid.
Now, fair point, fair point. We've got Ibsy with a blockbuster 3-0 with some crazy thoughts there as to who's going to score.
If I'm being honest, genuinely, that's just like my fantasy, but I think it will be like a 1-0, 1-1 kind of game. It will be cagey.
Yeah,
but I'm hopeful for a 3-0.
Tracking back.
I kind of agree with that. Obviously, RJ has gone with a 1-0 as well, or maybe a 1-0 sort of situation. I personally think it'll be similar as well, like a 1-0 for us, maybe a 1-0. I just can't see this being a high-octane, goals galore, one team scoring, because we are not clinical. I have to admit, we are not clinical. We've only been clinical one game, that was against Palace, where we put away 4. So that kind of matches don't happen very often for us. Generally, it's either one goal. Yeah, generally it's either one goal or max 2 goals. So
decision making has to be on point.
Yeah, our decision making has to be on point, man.
It has to. Yeah.
Right now, honestly, Ibsy, I haven't seen that consistently, so I'm a bit worried about that. So from that perspective, I'm thinking either a 1-0 win or a 1-0 sort of situation. And I'll be happy with that. I'll be very happy with that. I think we can manage to keep Real Madrid quiet. Yes, their midfield is fantastic, but our midfield can counter that as well. I feel like our midfield can step up to that and stay true to that. And our wing backs will definitely help out the midfield as well. So I'm not worried from that perspective. And our back three can definitely have all the class that is required to take care of Benzema. And I'm not too worried about Vinicius and whoever else they play up front, whether it's Esencial or, I don't know who else is there. I think Lucas Vasquez is still injured, so he's not going to be there. So it's
he's out for the season.
So most likely it'll be Esencial, right?
Reece needs to step up because of our Reece James propaganda. I mean, after we slandered Trent, I mean, Reece needs to step up. If he gets cooked by Vinicius, then we're just going to look silly.
Nah, man, Reece is going to take care of Vinicius, man. But yeah, that front three at Vade is generally going to be Benzema, Vinicius, and Esencial.
Again, it goes back to if he's going to play a 4-3-3 or a 3 at the back. If he's going to play 3 at the back, I feel Asensio might miss out and Marcelo might come in. So that's where the thing is. And Vinicius has a lot of pace. So I feel, I think it's Azpilicueta on the other side, if I'm not mistaken, at the 3 at the back.
Yeah, so
Azpilicueta
as right centre back.
Yeah, so I don't think he's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's got a lot of pace either.
No, he doesn't have a lot of pace, but he's got a lot of brains, bro. He's got a lot of brains.
That's true. But then Vinicius has, Vinicius with that pace I feel if he can, get his act together, I think he can really cause some problems. But again, it's the final third.
Yeah, now fair point. Ladies and gentlemen, 110 people live right now. This has been an amazing preview. Thank you so much to my panelists. I will have all of their socials description very soon. I haven't put it as yet, but straight after this stream, I'm going to plug it all in there. Do follow them in social media, in football Twitter, and all of the podcasts and stuff that RJ does as well. RJ stuff, you can find it in all the other previous videos. It's all there. Just pretty much click there, search up the description. And yeah, as I said, the live chat has been amazing. Thank you so much for all your support. Please smash the like button before you go. As you're logging out, please smash the like button. Get it to at least 100 likes, guys, if you've enjoyed this particular preview. And yeah, up the Chelsea. Let's get this victory. The game is happening tomorrow. And straight after the game, we will have the review. So do look out for that. So yeah, until next time, everyone. Take care and see ya.
Peace.